What's up, my peeps? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I guess I've always called it the locker room, but now that we just started doing interviews and naturally people start talking about what we talk about in interviews, everybody always says, at least I heard the media saying, that was on the Mike Irvin podcast. You know, to us, we are in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you coming by and hanging out another day. Now, let me tell you something, because there's so much going on in sports. I told you this thing is starting to heat up. You know what I mean? It went from a slow simmer to a real cook, boom, boom, flame just last week with everything that went down between Jerry and Michael Parsons. And now Jerry's already popping out and saying again, I said popping out. I didn't say popping off. I don't want anybody to take it. Michael said Jerry's popping off. I'm going to tell you something right now. This Jerry loves this more than anything in the world. Right here, right now. Think about it. This is what he does best. Negotiate. And we're sitting here and we'll keep talking about how much Jerry loses because he's waiting. And the reality is, no one really sees Jerry losing. We're saying that to make him look worse in the long run, but really, there is no losing, especially when Jerry, like I said, invested 140 million and turned it into 14 billion. I just used 14 because the 140, 140, 14. But I don't think I'm far off. I guarantee you. I know. Lakers, it's over 10 billion. Yeah, yeah, I can play with that. 140 million into 14 billion. Now, X how many times that is, and you see what I'm saying. This is what he loves to do. What he did say is don't lose any sleep over it. When I first heard that, I got mad. But I said, stop playing with the man. You're gonna go to a point of no return. But then I thought deeper and deeper about it, and it's what I'm telling you. He's right. Don't lose any sleep over it. Not saying it minimizes Michael's value. It absolutely cannot minimize Michael's value. But what he's saying is he's doing business. He's doing business, and he'll get it done in the end. But here's my issue, Michael. He's just not CD. He's not Dak. Michael is Michael. You know what I mean? Michael is the kind of guy that his emotions are always going to be a part of things. And what you've done up to this point is use his emotions, and they worked for us. Because his emotions, love, everything worked for us. I don't want it to get to a way in a place where that thing turns, and I know this is a hard part of business, and it's hard. It's easy for Jerry, and it's much more difficult for Michael. Because Michael, you're getting 42, 43 million a year, that's a lot of money for anybody. And for Michael, that's a lot of money. And peanuts to Jerry. You see what I'm saying? So he's saying, don't lose any sleep over it. We don't lose sleep over that kind of money. We deal business in these kind of numbers all the time. I remember Jerry first started helping me with this. He said you should be in those meeting rooms and make sure that you're learning the business side. I promise you, he said to me, he said, Michael, we're going to be talking about numbers that'll probably blow your head off, make you go, whew. If you don't get used to talking about these numbers, you'll never get your worth. I thought it was okay. Yeah, you're right. And I understand when he's trying to work with Michael and talk to and say, I want to talk with Michael. But a deal is done when the deal is done, and you got to go through the agents. That's the part that bothers me. That Jerry says that. I mean, let's be real here, guys. I want to listen to what you guys have been saying about that about this, and I want to talk to you guys. And then I want to talk about Shedeur Sanders getting the starting nod for the Cleveland Browns. Oh my God, y'all! I tell y'all what, God is a trip, boy. All of it plays the way it plays, but we're gonna talk about this in a minute. The Shedeur and everything, man. We're gonna talk about it all in a minute. But let me hear. Wait a minute. Why are my glasses like this? Like it's kind of got a little something on. I don't know what it is. But man, I'm just telling you, and I was tripping when I heard when they came out. Shedeur Sanders started Friday night for the Cleveland Browns. Okay, aka KMP. Parson is lazy. So okay, but let me ask you this. So am I going to just say, all right, yeah, aka KMP said Cam said Parson's lazy, man. So let's not pay him. Let's just cut him. Or am I going to go by my eyes and say, not just my eyes, but most people's eyes, since he's all pro and and been doing everything since everybody's eyes. You see what I'm saying? I want to talk to you about reality, not your emotions, because you can't say this man is lazy. You can't say that. Don't say stuff like that. You know what? That's what. Listen, I was telling the guys, we gonna have. I want this new segment we got coming up. It's gonna call. I want to call it something like a what the hell? Like, why would you say that? Why is this that? Who did this? And that kind of question to me is perfect for what the hell? How you gonna say that man lazy? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Come on, dog. Come better than that, man. All right, you don't stop the run. Okay, Leon Rodriguez says he doesn't stop the run. I can dig that. Now, that has been somewhat of a knock on Micah with his ability to stop the run. Now, I don't remember Micah having a good plugger, which I think will make him even more effective. A good plugger, what big D lineman has he had to plug that middle? So to make you think he can't stop running. Let me tell you why. I say that. Because whenever they're blocking him, they're never blocking him with one person. So if there's a run coming at him, right, either they have to put him in conflict by making him the end, come at me, I'm pitching. If you go to the pitch, I'm running. Put him in conflict. Or they'll have to do what they do every other play. They bring two guys. Now, Micah job, now when two big 300-pounders come laying on each shoulder trying to rock you to sleep, he has to protect and hold up that wall of meat that's trying to run him over. Come on, man. You know, you just think about if they didn't have to put two guys on Michael and they could block everybody, man up. We ain't have nothing to stop the run anyway. So when you say he struggles against the run, I'll take it because he's part of the Dallas Cowboys defense. But I don't know if I can ascertain everything he is against the run with what we put around him trying to stop the run. That's all I have to say to that. You know what I mean? That's why, okay, and that's why when you say right here, Bill, second level runs get to the linebackers, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You said it. You know what makes the linebackers the best backers in the game? Or you watch any game? What make linebackers best? When I sit around with Ray Lewis and I sit around with the greats, you know what they tell me? Well, hey, as a matter of fact, I was just with him, the Richard Dent and all of them dudes, man. When they know, when they know, you can't come up the middle. So now all I gotta do is lock down mine. A whole different thing, a whole different thing when they know they got that support. Now you talk about, I tell you what, think about this. If you had a strong defensive line, and I'm trying to figure out what defensive lineman can we say that Micah has played with that has been a great, very, I like all my boys, but one of the best run stoppers. Give me that. Do you understand if you can clog up the middle, how many more plays he'll make coming around the end because somebody goes middle, they got nowhere to run. But okay, if he's coming by the time they going through the middle of the field. Yeah, you got to give somebody else to help stop the run because if you're the only person everybody's blocking, and it seems like everybody else just ain't playing, then it makes it hard. So yeah, I rank Mike top of the 88s. Oh yeah, well, if I rank Mike top of the 88s, man, we all top dog. This is a building block, not competing buildings. We are building blocks. Building blocks mean you go as high as you can, and then the next 88, I try to step on his ceiling and make it my floor, take it as high as I can. Then the next 88, step on that ceiling, make it his floor, take it. It's a building blocks. Now, not comparing building. Now, he did this much. He did this much. He did that much. He did that much. There's no legacy. So they're not stacking on top of one another. Great legacy. History is what stacks on top of one another. That's why we call the 88 Club. You can't break us down, brother. We way back then and we way up here and we represent what we represent. Now, you know what? This is funny though, because I'm a little surprised and maybe I just saying here, but I expect a little more support for Michael Parsons here. I mean, it's different. I expect he certainly has always shown up and has always played, and now I get a lot of people kind of starting to pick up that old what was that old Fox in the grapes? Who couldn't get them grapes? Where he said, I want the grapes anyway. Yeah, you wanted them grapes, you could get them. But this right here, I'm surprised, man. Michael always plays hard. That what the hell is somebody says talking about the guy's kid is lazy. That's pop talk, man. Come on, you can't be talking like that when it comes down to a man money. That's the very definition. The definition, if you go to the book and you look it up, hater, that's exactly what it is. If you have no basis to be saying what you're saying, what the hell? And that's what that would be. They call that a hater. So I can't go that far with you. You know what I mean, man? I can't go that far. It's just, that's not what it was. It's not what it is, man. Yeah, what are you talking about the gold jacket here? Somebody saying something about the gold jacket. What is there? Put that on the gold jacket. Eric, put that on my gold jacket. Put what on my gold jacket? Hey, maybe come on back with that because I want to know about that, man. But if I say it, I'll put that. Yeah, I'm with you, Bill. Bill Hardeman. See now, you see what I'm saying? Micah does need help. We right, and my problem. Let me tell you, my problem is here, and I don't know because football defense is okay. Every time I say presenter, defense is about a bunch of guys. The guy that has ability but has connectability because everybody got to play their assignment and play it to the best so that everybody can win. I thought getting this issue out between DeMarcus Lawrence and Michael Parsons was going to take this defense to another level because obviously there was some fight there and obviously there was some gripe there. And you can't really put that you can't play great defense when you have that kind of stuff. Talk to the greats. Talk to how close Ray Lewis and Ed Reed was. you can't play defense like that. It's too hard and it requires too much, especially on this level. And I don't care what anybody said. I believe that affected the Dallas Cowboys, and that's no longer here. And I want to see what happens now without that problem and with that separation gone. That's why I got upset at Jerry, because then what you just created, taking out the locker room and DeMarcus Lawrence, now you just created another fuss in the locker room with this thing with Michael, because you called out first Trayvon Diggs. Now here's the other side that I can lay a head on the pillow and pray about. I'd rather have the fight in the locker room together, thinking they're fighting somebody out the locker room, than having people fight each other in the locker room. So DeMarcus Lawrence out, so we don't have the fighting in the locker room. Now, I didn't want it this way, but that it came down this way, where Trayvon Diggs is mad at Jerry. Now Michael Parsons is mad at Jerry. And they just somehow harness all of their mad together and go out and play a great defense, do great things, and just say we're gonna work our way out of here. I'll take that anger play while you work your way out of here. You see what I mean? At least they're still connected in the locker room, because they're going to need it to deal with the kind of pain that they're going to go through on the field. This is what I'm telling you. That's why that is important, and you won't win without it. You won't win without it. You'll never, listen to me, you'll never ever hear anybody say in football, well, I don't know how that team won. They really didn't like each other. You'll never hear that. You cannot possibly hear that. You can hear that in basketball because it has success by itself, individual success. You can hear it in baseball. Like they talk about the Yankees and all of that. It certainly doesn't matter in golf. But not in football, because every responsibility for the man, for the player, is interconnected with the responsibility of another. There is no individual success. So, and it's going to be hard. And you guys know it gets down to these little things right here, inches, little milliseconds, all of that stuff. And that's going to take great connectivity. That's why I'm saying. So yes, I know what I'm saying. I know y'all think I'm just talking, but trust me, I know what I'm saying. That's why everywhere I have gone, I know how to get a ring, and they got to do it here. You got to connect everybody in that defense. That's just the bottom line. Yeah. And they have a tough task right now, right off the bat with the Eagle game. Yeah. Yep. You're right. You're right. They got a tough task. Michael, you got a tough task right off the bat playing the Eagles. Now, this thing, because you can catch the Eagles. I was looking to catch the Eagles here. I want to see what they look like week one. Did you guys see? And I'm talking about, did you see what Detroit Lions look like in the preseason game? Now, Detroit Lions, you can tell they're starting to feel good about themselves. They lose coordinators, and they come back on the field in that preseason game. I know it's preseason game, but they didn't look like Detroit Lions. They turn the ball over, everything. You see what happens sometimes when you lose coordinators like that. You lose the sense of what your team was, how it practiced, the tempo, how serious everything was. You had already grind in a culture, and now that thing shifted. And Detroit, I ain't saying it's over, but they're going to re-identify and have to refocus. And I want to see how this thing plays off with the Philadelphia Eagles. How hungry are you after just eating the full championship meal? How quickly did you get back, you see, to try to get and eat another championship meal? And you can catch these teams if they ain't got the right kind of leadership, or if they have changed coordinators, like like both of these teams have. You can catch these teams in game one, and yeah, the thing is you catch them off guard and do some things. They look like crap. No continuity. Yeah, you talking about Detroit. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So see, so now, if Micah decides to go and play, and you see all this angst that's going on in the locker room, if these guys decide to come together about it, that's where the bad can turn into some good for us. You know what I mean? That's where the bad can flip the script and turn into something good for us all. If that anger is displayed on the field. But I do hope, and Jerry, I hope Jerry pull back on this with Michael, because I know he scars heavy, and he feels it, and he plays hard all the time. I don't know what my boy was talking about, saying he's lazy. He plays hard all the time. But I want to also talk about some other thing, because you guys do know I did tell you I am at the surprise. But I'm in the. I can't even tell you where I am at right now. They put me in this room, and they'll come and get me for the surprise that we have to go to. They asked me not to say anything until afterwards because it is a surprise, you know. So yeah. But I'm sure you guys will hear about it and certainly see it here as soon as we pull it off with all the social media and everything. So yeah, you know. And I'll tell you this. I'm sure my quarterback's somewhere in one of these rooms too. You know what I mean? My quarterback is somewhere in one of these rooms. I just used that little tidbit of information I gave you guys just to segue to talking about this next quarterback. This next quarterback. Oh my God. His next quarterback was the 144th pick. You know what I mean? The 144th pick for the Cleveland Browns. He's the son of my walking talker. That's he's the son of the guy that I did the walk and talk with. You know what I mean? Deion Sanders. So you can check out the walk and talk too. You know, because to get him back on the field and messing around with him and having fun. And I love at the end of that walk and talk what he said. You just want to feel what it feels like to be on that. I'm not gonna get distracted with that. You go check that out for yourself right now. But we're not talking about Deion. I'm talking about I am talking about Deion because I'm talking about his son that got picked 144. I said, wow. This is crazy. You guys do see Shedeur Sanders will be starting at quarterback Friday in the preseason open. Oh my God, man. Oh my God. Yo, can you believe that? Can you believe this, how this plays out? You can't, you can't, you can't make this up. If you hire the greatest writers, they can't write this up. You can't AI this up. AI. Give me the craziest, wildest story that you can know. You can't even, it blows my mind. I wonder, what did they say when they said, well, we got to start him? What do you mean you got to start him? What the hell do you mean you got to start him? Now, this is after the owner came out. Just, I don't even want to address what he was saying because it made no sense. They told me When I drove home that night that we were going to draft, there's no way. That was clearly, I'm pretty sure he was just trying to give the GM some power and some credit, but he did a poor job because he boo-booed all over Shador in whatever he was trying to do. But you're the fourth quarterback, and now you're going to get a start after dropping all the way down. You were the fifth quarterback in the room, really, because Deshaun Watson was, above him. And you went the fifth round, 144. I, I don't know. I don't know how I'll see certain things. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just say it this way. I don't know how else to see certain things. So I always look for God in all things because I gotta have life make sense to me. I was talking about that when I was talking about the immigration situation here. When someone has worked that hard and put in the time and did it right, it should work out for them. They've earned that. That's being just. Being fair is giving everybody an opportunity, but being just is what you're ultimately seeking. And I'm telling you, let me tell you, my mom always said things work in threes, and I'm just gonna tell you like this. I thought, wow, when I got this, wow, what a play. Let me give it to you. Works in threes. Deion Sanders. We talked about it on draft day. Finds out he has cancer. Thinking about on this one day that he prepared for 20-some years, him and his boys, I'm dying. And then he gets this horrific situation that happens with his boy, who all they've ever dreamed of was getting him drafted above him, above Deion Sanders. And he's going to suffer through some great pain, dealing with a pretty tough situation. But in the end, everybody calling, asking for prayers and wondering what was wrong, made everybody tune in when he spoke here with me and in his press conferences. And that great thing he went through, that great mess turned into a message, and everybody starting to go get checked. Who knows how many lives he's going to save? But he went through something to get there. In the end, God put him on top because everybody that was worried about him tuned in, and everybody that was worried about him got a message to worry about everybody that you love and go get checked out. You see, that's when I say what the devil means for evil. God makes it good. And then I turned around and saw it not one time, but two times. Because I watched Shannon Sharp over at the Hall of Fame. And I saw just how he moved, and I saw all his interviews. I sat in the Niska luncheon, and I heard him speak. I heard the tears roll down his face as he sat in there with the great men that he has admired and has played the game at the highest of levels, balling like a kid because his big brother is getting what he deserves, his rightfully spot at home in the NFL Hall of Fame. I couldn't think, I couldn't couldn't help but sit there and think all that he had gone to prior to coming to the Hall of Fame with the lawsuit and the settlement, and you think you're good. Everybody said, well, just take it out, you'll be back. And then, no, trust me, I know. And then you don't get the job back. No, ever, it's gone. And then everybody comes out and said, well, no, we were just lying. We always had a consensual relationship. We just played the game and got some money. And everybody says, oh, it's okay, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. Even though we all knew it was a lot from the go. It's just, you know. But in the end, what I saw him experience, what I saw him share, I'm telling you, man, all that he had gone through, even leading up to that day, to see him at the Hall of Fame, and then Sterling at the end of his speech bring him up there and hold him tight. The only guys, only brothers to ever get in an NFL Hall of Fame. What the devil meant for evil, God brought it good. Now, all of those eyes that were watching Shannon through his mess got to see him stand up there. Eyes, people that don't even watch football, don't even know anything about the NFL Hall of Fame, but they know they saw Shannon Sharp's name and they knew they just saw it in the mess, so they had tuned in and got the message. What is that message, Mike? I'm going to bring the message back to you by tying it in to the protected 144 that he pulled out. And that 144th pick was Shedeur Sanders. In Revelations, they talk about what God sent the angels, the four corners of the earth, and so you stop the destruction until I pull in and seal my 144. I told you that 144 is the seal that this is mine, and the seal of protection you get from God. Who else? How else? When I talked to Deion, he said his son doesn't even want him to come and watch him practice because he doesn't get enough reps. Before week 144th, you have been protected and you have been sealed. Oh, Joe Flacco, he's too old. He can't start. Okay, the second string. What happened? Oh, a hamstring. He can't start. All right, well, we'll go third string. What's up? Let's get up. Let's get ready. Hamstring. He can't start. And I love the God. God knows those young men. They got life. They got to get ready. They got to make a team, do everything. He just pulled the hamstring a little bit. Just let him pull. Nothing serious. But I'm going to need you to sit down for week 1 so the world can see the seal I put on number 144. Can y'all imagine if he plays anything? I mean, anything like boy, if he plays anything like anything, the story blows up even bigger. And also, everybody that watch him fall gonna tune in. And they'll watch this rise. I told God, I said, boy, I know everybody out here talking about the devil, everybody getting on everybody, trying to break everybody down. But I'm going to tell them, those are 3 stories right there, bro, where I thought all in all, everybody thought all in all, those 3 would fall. But in the end, they win. And Shedeur Sanders, oh, it's gonna be some great talk. I just can't wait. Let me tell you something. We ain't even gotta wait. Watch the ratings for this Friday preseason game. Watch if you don't think this is going to be what that devil meant for evil, God made good, like he did with that jersey sale. Remember now, remember. The other piece that people don't ever give is God also said, I will prepare a table in the presence of your enemy. You hear what I'm saying? So that death enemy that wanted Deion, but God prepared that table and then saved all them people from death. You see, robbed them all. So now those guys going to get checked and restored. So you know what I'm saying? So all you did was raise him up. That dirt you planned to put on his grave, all you did was give him a hill to stand on and do his work. You see, you went after the wrong one, death, and he's going to rob you of a lot of deaths. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you got to see the message and all your mess. Shannon, I want to tell people, I know you don't think this, but you learn there's something greater than money. And to see the hellhole he has come from to get to where he is, and for the whole world stand up and have to see that moment, looking in for his pain, but forced to see his great promise that those two little boys made it out of the hellhole of a ghetto and now will forever be a part of history. You're a Hall of Famer. You can't get cut, can't get traded. You can't even die off this team. Forever. And we saw it. And everybody that never even watched the Hall of Fame, or probably never watched football, they saw it. And a lot of people tuned in to watch Shador. Drop. A lot of people said a lot of things. And since all of it has put a lot of eyes on Shador, and you got to admit, this kid has handled everything spectacularly, incredibly. And I expect him to do the same thing Friday night when they get the highest rated first preseason game, certainly in the history of the Cleveland Browns. And I believe the history of the NFL. I got to go get ready for this little surprise. But, y'all, wait a minute. Y'all see what I'm saying? Hold on, let me just hear what y'all are saying. God bless you, Mike, and all you here too. Yeah, but dude, y'all don't think, well, the devil meant for evil, the Lord has made it good. Dude, everything I'm telling y'all, that's how I see life. You know what I mean? People always ask, man. I appreciate that, Oscar. I appreciate that, man. Hey, man, you just dropping in and wish you prayers for you and your wife every day, all day. Hope for best. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, that's every day. And I know a lot of you guys, a lot of people out here deal with Alzheimer's and loved ones. I'm praying for you guys too. And if I don't say that enough, I apologize because I should be saying that all the time. You know, I'm always praying for you guys, and that's right. But I want us, all of us, I want us that are you know that are believers. We have to see God's writing also. We're in a world right now, man, where everybody wants to see the writings of the devil. You know, We'll come out and talk about it. Shannon, I'm self-indicting too, me too. Shannon, oh, the worst person in the world, worst person in the world. I mean, how could you guys do this? How could you guys do? Why you guys do what you do? And the reality is, OnlyFans. We got kids on OnlyFans. I've never been on OnlyFans, so I don't know. But kids that's making $3, $4, $5, $10 million a month because of what what's going on out here. But those are the same people that are paying all of that money, because look at the numbers. They're sitting here saying, oh my God, you're sick, you're sick, you're sick. I'm just saying, man, come on, man. Let him without sin cast that first stone. But what we got to do right here is make sure we point out where God put his hands on things. And this has been 3 that I saw him put his hands on. I can say this week, you know, we love to talk about the story, but the man is falling, or what we think is the collapse. We always want to talk about that story, but we don't want to talk about too much the great glory when God do the old flipperooski on y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's just 3 for me. We're going to watch Friday night, and woo, then we're going to talk about that, man. I can't wait to see that. I mean, if I can, I may even sit in and we just watch that first quarter together. I may turn on the channel and let us watch that together, do that live. I just want to, at least the first quarter of it, I want to see this and just have let me find out my schedule. I may do that. Right now, I got to get ready for the surprise. They'll be knocking on the door in 6 minutes. So listen, what the hell? I'm going to get to it because I got some good stuff, man. You know, let me say it. So stuff that goes down, and I'm gonna take it in and we'll mess with it too. We want to start messing with it. Stuff like that. When I read, I see something when I'm going through. I say, what the hell? What is this? What the hell? Like the NFL bans smelling salt. The NFL has banned smelling salts. You know that stuff that we used to put to wake you up when you got knocked out. They haven't let anybody hit anybody in I don't know how long. You can't touch anybody. So why are you now coming up with banning smelling salts? Come on, man. And I know some guys right now, like George Kittle jokes about, like he likes to do and gets him hype. But come on, man. Oh, go ahead over there. Stop it. Just somebody quietly go to George and say, the NFL, you doing that on the sideline. Don't make no statement. This is another one I said. This is another one I told. This is another one. This is right quick before I go. Right quick. I got 3 minutes. I got 3 minutes. Sex toy throws shut down WNBA games. Now, in 2 separate WNBA games involving the Golden State Valkyries, sex toys were thrown onto the court. One during a tie at 75-75. Security removed them. One during a tie, security removed them. Game paused, and one fan was later arrested. The league now issues bans on at least 1 year. So no, what the hell? First of all, what are we doing throwing sex toys in a WNBA game? I can't even get into that. Because y'all know what they're throwing. And I'm not even getting into that. I ain't gonna, that's just absolutely crazy. Uh, you know, that makes no sense whatsoever. I don't care whatever. Here again. This is the same thing. This is the same thing. The same thing I was just talking about. I promise you. So now, okay, you got a few people so brazen and crazy that they think whatever they think of the ladies playing, that they're going to go out, go to a sex shop, buy a dildo or buy toys and come and throw it on like what the hell? Are you joking? What? Like that dude, I promise y'all, I promise you, last I promise you. If we ever get that dude and just peek into his history and go on his computer and just find out what he's disgusted with people, and I'm just curious about what disgusting things he does. Sometimes I think people perpetuate themselves. You know what I mean? They are so upset with who they are, where they are, what they're going through, that they just find some anger to put it out on someone else or put it towards someone else when really it's just you dealing with you. That situation right there at a sporting event, yeah, that's a what the hell. What the hell. All right, I'll tell you guys about this. What the hell next time we talk. Appreciate it. Check you next time. Thanks for visiting the locker room, or like the media is calling it, the Mike Irvin podcast. All right, guys, and check out that walk and talk with my boy Deion Sanders.